Hello and welcome to the Derek's Diary channel. This is a video response to Ian Crossland's video done regarding or called Hate. As Ian decided to let out a few frustrations, which can be good a few times. In fact, I came on here, did a video yesterday, decided not to do it because I kind of let out more than probably I should have. But it was an amazing video, and that's what happened originally for myself within the connecting the dots and getting the bigger picture. As it was October the 30th, 2007, and I'm just doing my normal things. I see Ian put a new video in. It's called Synchronization at the time, and well, still called that. And he's frustrated in that video. Therefore, he goes on and he starts talking about things like colony collapse disorder and how the bees, without them, were pretty much screwed. And then he talks about mining the moon, and that's where people can really criticize him. Now what's interesting is people, when they get this information, they just go out of their way to criticize it to large degrees. Instead of, well, maybe this person might be onto something, but I'm not going to trust this person. I think I should do my own research, which in my case meant, well, he talked about colony collapse disorder, so maybe that should be my first search, which it was, and then one thing led to another, led to another, led to another, basically. And that's been the story. Now moving on to where we are today. And now this recent video was about embracing the hate, because, well, I'm feeling pretty much exactly how he's feeling, so I understand completely what's going on. And I feel as if I should be embracing this hate. Whereas, say you're talking with somebody who's all frustrated. Oh man, I'm underwater in my house and everything. They're, oh, congratulations, right on. Why are you saying that? Well, you support fiat currency, and therefore you know that the game is set up guaranteed to have a few winners and several losers, and many people going hungry. So granted, you're a loser and you're going hungry. Yay! See, that just wouldn't work. But that's the reality about this issue. And the complacency is so bad. Here's a magazine from Maclean's. It's a Canadian magazine, and the cover says 98 really stupid things the government spent with your money, or did with your money, whatever. Now, do you think that any one of them talks about paying off debt, which is guaranteed, or even explains to you how currency is created? No, they're not going to do that. There's a few of them that was really interesting, to say the least, and I didn't write the numbers down, so I don't even know if I'm going to, you know what, screw it. Because it's just plain out lies. And that was an easy prediction. I looked at this cover and I said, I can guarantee you that they're A, not going to explain how currency is created, which obviously they didn't, and B, they're not going to talk about the really stupid things that they did with the money. So I find that quite interesting. Now, I'm going to read a little bit from The Creature of Jekyll Island. I've got the link down below, and it's an easy Google search. It's an amazing book. And before I read it, I want to go over a story from this last weekend. Because I'm in a local bookstore, and I'm looking around, and I seen this little book. It was a gold and silver book, and it was written by Atmex. I'd never seen it before, and I took a quick look through it, and it seemed pretty good. And I told them that about another book, Investing in Gold and Silver by Mike Maloney. I told them that this author gave this a signed copy to me directly. It's an amazing book, and people would probably want it. I even mentioned, you know, another book people would probably want is A Creature from Jekyll Island. I asked if they had it in stock, and even if they could order it in for me, oh, they're not able to order it in. And, well, I'm sure there's a story behind that. But it's interesting, and I think the person I was talking to was somewhat aware to what was going on. And, you know, I don't even know. Okay, so I'm going to go over this book, and I'm going to talk first, really two things within the book. Early on in the book, they go through 7 different things. I'll just start reading it now. I came to the conclusion that the Federal Reserve needed to be abolished for 7 reasons. I'd like to read them to you now so that you can get an idea where I'm coming from. As they say, I put these into the most concise phrasing that I can to make them somewhat shocking, and maybe you'll remember them. So number 1, The Federal Reserve is incapable of accomplishing its stated objectives. Now, originally, what was the Federal Reserve there to do, if you can remember, or if you've read your history books? Obviously, you wouldn't remember, you weren't alive back then, but within the history books, what did they say they were going to do? Well, they were going to stop these bad economic times from happening. I think even keeping prices stable. And that's been the furthest from the truth if they've made it really, really bad. It is a cartel operating against the public interest. And that's the public interest, is for all the suffering in the world to have a very hard time, and for the, just that there. Then maybe it'd be in the interest, but no, it's not in the public's interest whatsoever. Number 3, it's the supreme instrument of usury. Usury is basically a word for laundering through debt, or just it's another form of cheating, if you will. And because of the interest, 100% guaranteed to cause debt, suffering, and all that stuff, that's what that refers to. It generates our most unfair tax, which is through inflation. Number 5, it encourages war. And how much war has there been? And has any of these wars been set up through false flags from the supporting from the Federal Reserve? I don't know, but I know, yes, we've had a lot of war. Number 6, it destabilizes the economy. And obviously it's not stable right now, and really hasn't been for that much. And it is an instrument of total terrorism. You know what? Totalitarianism. T-O-T-A-L, total-it-r-I-a-n-ism. Whatever. Okay, so basically it sucks. Now I'm going to read one final part, and that'll be it. I was reading it last night. Let's see if I can find it again. Okay, did I pass through it? I'm already on like page 8, so I probably did. Let's just try to find it again. Just hold on, we'll get it. So I read this yesterday, and I was planning on reading it today. Here we are. Okay, let's get started. Well, within this... Now, I'm on page 12 of the ebook of 48. I'm going to give you the link to this ebook down below. You can try printing it out. Maybe you can even try saving itself as a PDF, but here we go. Only a $100 deposit, but $900 in loans, and that deposit is still there. Where did the $900 come from? And the answer is the same. There was no money. This springs into existence precisely at the point at which the loan is made. Notice the difference. An important distinction is when the money is created out of. It's created out of nothing. For the government, it is spent by the government. Now on the banking side, however, when it's created out of nothing, it's not spent on the banks. No. Okay, where did I leave off? It is loaned by the banks to you and me, and we spend it. Notice that when they loan it to us, we have to pay them interest on it, which is usury. Think about that for a minute. The money was created out of nothing, and yet they collect interest on it, which means that they collect interest on nothing. Not too shabby. What a concept. Why didn't I think of that? I wish I had a magic checkbook like that where I could just write checks all day long and didn't have to have any money, any place, just checks. Loan it to all you folks and you're silly enough to pay me interest. That's how it works. Now you see what the benefit to the banking cartel for being involved in this Fed system is. Interest on nothing. The process does not end there. However, it has consequences to you and me. I've heard some people say, isn't that interesting? These fellows are sure smart. I guess they deserve to be rich, as though we're out of the loop. It doesn't affect any of us. They got rich but we're okay. Well, no. They got rich all right, but they got it by taking from us. So yeah, it says, why didn't I think of that? And I actually ask that myself all the time. How did I never think about this growing up? And it wasn't around for it to be easily figured out, because it's something I had to figure out on my own. Nowadays, it's as simple as going on the internet and Google searching how was money created, or having one of those days where someone accidentally runs into you and gives you the information. Because that's what I've wondered. All these people clueless to the grid are not even thinking about that, and I don't blame them for that, because finding the question is harder than finding the answer. But one of those days, someone must have came to him and explained to him why Occupy Wall Street was happening. Or just flat out said, hey, this is the case there. Because whether you use math, science, art, instinct, I don't care, you should find it out. Now, I use math and I figured it out simple. And an easy example is this. Imagine you're running a very small community and you're giving out 1,000 units. Let's pick a somewhat small number, 1,000. And you're going to lend that out to 2 banks, 500 to one, 500 to another, and you charge that bank 10%. And that means each bank has to pay you $550 for 1,100 total. Now, I'm the only one that can create it. No one else is allowed to, so that 1,000 is going to stay in existence. So now that bank is going to loan out $2 to this person, $5 to this person, and because they were paying 10%, they'll make a little profit, a markup, say 16%, and now they're all borrowing money, they're paying it back. Now, what's the debt crisis like? That simple example is happening right now on this planet, but it's obviously much grander than that. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much about it. But I did think of one idea, and that is a mass awakening day. And basically, you spend not everyone, but as many people that want to participate, spend as much time as they can that day into waking up as many people as you can. Basically finding victims. And I use victims as innocent people, random people, and you just go out and you say to them, boom, this is how money's created. Or you go into a store and you go to the store clerk and you say, do you take Monopoly money? No. Oh, okay, fine. So you go, you buy what it is that you want to buy, and you throw down a piece of silver or a piece of gold. And they're like, no, we don't take that. Oh, then what do you take? Oh, we take dollars. Oh, but I thought I asked you before if you took Monopoly money, which this is because, and then you explain the because, basically. So find creative different ways. Going on the internet, and whether it be YouTube, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, whatever, social media galore, and just start giving out the information. Last night, President Obama had the State of the Union, so I found one of the videos, and I decided to look through the comments, and I wanted to find about, or I actually found about 10 victims, I guess you could say. And I would look for people that were like, oh, I'm proud to be an American. Well, let's see if you really are. Or Barack Obama 2012, and I just reply back to it. If I'd see someone say Ron Paul 2012, I really don't need to comment to them, because they're pretty much aware that there's at least a little bit wrong with this country and this world, or else they wouldn't have said Ron Paul 2012. Now, I think a lot of the big reason for this denial is because they can't handle the fact that the reality as it is, because they got this self set in themselves that big brother, or their government, if you will, is there for their best interest. And to find out that they've turned on them so badly is something that they just can't take, sort of like the movie, You Can't Handle the Truth. Well, a lot of people can't handle it, but sometimes you got no choice. Thank you for tuning in.